This is Tom Meyer, Superintendent, Bellevue Community School District, coming to you with this week's Believe in the Blue update. Had a board meeting last evening, want to update everyone on, but before I do that, I want to let you know of some upcoming concerts. We have our Bellevue Elementary concert coming up on Thursday evening, and that is the preschool and TK is at 6:15. The K through 2 is at 7 o'clock, and then the grades 3 through 5 is approximately 7:45. We do different shifts to get different people in. That concert is once again being held at the middle school, high school, multi-purpose gym, West Gym, whatever you want to call it that way. It is being held out there. We're going to fit a lot more people in there, and parking is much better. We can say you have to walk across the parking lot, but that's much better than parking 6 blocks away down at the elementary sometimes. So that's where we're at that way. I want to let you know that. Some different things with the actual agenda of what's going on there, what happened at the meeting. Liz Ryder resigned as assistant high school softball coach. She accepted the position at Northeast, actually, as the head coach. Our head coach this year will be Adam Smith, who is also our math teacher right now. Recommendation to hire, we had an associate to hire. We hired Sarah Lampy to work with one of our students here, or our group of students, I should say that way. So awareness there of that. We had a comic curriculum presentation that way by Emily Ray, Aaron Fisher, and Jeanette Hartung Schrader, and some conversations they had was about their attendance and their learnings from the National Council of the Teachers of English. Emily Ray, Chris Kellogg, Tracy Till went down from the elementary, and then Emily Jorgensen, Aaron Fisher from the middle school, high school, and then Ms. Hartung Schrader, the elementary principal, along with Joni Kilberg, our instructional coach, K through 12, specifying or specifically being utilized in literacy. So great events there. They talked about a lot of real positive things. They talked about the diversity in reading, giving students choice, talked about the importance of poetry in the reading, but differentiating reading based on that student choice for students. And there's not just one correct way to write or that formula of writing of when to write and how to write, but allowing to happen what is successful for kids and giving students some of those choices along the way of reading a variety of different authors. So a very good presentation by them that evening. So I want to compliment them on that. Emily and Aaron and Jeanette did a wonderful job of presenting. Did discuss the multi-purpose room, the West Gym there, of replacing the floor. We're actually going to put a wood floor down over top of it. The wood floor is going to be in blocks. It's going to be a parquet type look. Most reasonable price we could get, and also the best floor we could get, frankly. So we're very happy with that. Total cost for that was less than $65,000. We do have some insurance money come for about $35,000 of that too. So very good. It should last for the next 50 years, 50 to 60 years. So a real positive there in that regard. It'll be much better traction-wise for everyone involved in there, for all the different sports that utilize it and different activities as a whole that utilize it. Let's talk about the facilities overall and what was going on there with facilities. We had our community engagement meetings last Thursday night. We had a final meeting for that. The overwhelming majority of people who spoke up said we need to build a new Bellevue Elementary School. The core team will be meeting again at the beginning of January to discuss future actions, make some recommendations to the board in February, and see where we're going with that. The earliest we would look at any type of bond issue would be in September, but just kind of planning things out yet, figuring out what is it we want, how do we get it, and what's going to be the best for our community and best for our students overall. A lot of things go into this whole process, and it's far from being over. There'll be more community engagement meetings to discuss what's going on and what should happen, along with tax rates and everything like that that could potentially happen. So just want everyone to know that. Next thing on the agenda, we are getting a new copier for the middle school, high school library, along with 3 new printers in the district, 1 at the preschool, and then 2 in the special education rooms at the middle school, high school. That way, as I mentioned, 4 special ed rooms. Those are color printers, and those will be much more efficient. In fact, the printers will pay for themselves in literally a little bit over a year. So a positive in that regard. We also had a review of our wellness policy. The final reading will be at the next meeting. We do have a large packet that was approved and over basically a real specific part of the wellness policy. Last July it was approved, and this is kind of an introduction to that we need to have on there as well, giving an overview of that policy. and that will be approved or read again and up for approval at the January 2017 meeting. Another thing here, we had one student who was looking at early graduation. That is Griffin Benson. He was approved for early graduation. Other students may take part in that if they choose. We'll just need to have that by the January board meeting. Doesn't feel like July out there today. Also approved modified allowable growth and dropout prevention for roughly $140,000. That is spending authority for the district and is necessary for some teachers' salaries and associates' salaries, and really utilizing it for services directly to students, which is what it's all about that way. Legislative update, there is some talk about the 1 cent extension, the SAVE money being extended out for future years. The legislature convenes officially in January. There are some meetings prior to that. The 1 cent money is used for physical plant improvements that way, and it's a very important fund to school districts across Iowa to be able to not just maintain buildings and not just sweeping floors, but also to construct buildings and update buildings adequately and appropriately for the students. And all money has to go through a board approval, obviously, before it is used, just like anything. Some other information items. Kevin Lundeen and myself presented on the IASB school board convention that we attended, just talking a lot about making sure we're giving students what they need, when they need it, how we're doing that, helping students to overcome obstacles, and recognizing that, as Michael Fullen would say, it's, you may have a prescription for something, but you need to have precision in doing it and figuring out what's working for each one of those students that way along down the line. We are looking to potentially hire also another assistant coach for baseball for the summer. We'll have between 30 and 34 students out, grades 8 through 12. And the plan would be to have a coach for the freshman team, along with our middle school team that we started up last year. Officially combining those two positions that way would be a good idea, and the district will be advertising that in the upcoming weeks. Also about the IASB Day on the Hill, January 30th, 2018, inviting any school board members to go to the Capitol that day in Des Moines and see what's going on and share and advocate for public schools and what they mean to our entire state and nation, and appropriate funding. We recognize funding this year is going to be low. It's probably, if we can get 1%, I hate to say it, that would be a good thing for us. But we're hoping for more, but we will do the best with whatever we get, and we're thankful at the same time with whatever we get. But the SAVE extension, that 1 cent extension, would also be beneficial. At that point, the building principals talked about a variety of different things happening in their buildings and student concerts and just student activities as a whole that way, and the success of our students in so many ways. It's been a interesting year with some unfortunate situations happening with family members and students, and overcoming those things as we move throughout the year, and offering services, counseling services for students and staff as needed. The board then entered closed session for a mid-year evaluation of the superintendent, me. That went fine that way. I'm still here today at least. No, it went fine. Very good input. Talking about a lot of the great things that are happening within our district, and the continuation of these great things that are happening. The Bellevue Community School District has a lot of positive things happening, and it's because of everyone involved with it. It's because of our community, but most importantly, it's because of our students. So take a chance and thank your student if you're watching us have students, or thank the neighbor kid or whoever it is, because they are making our district look very good in comparison to other districts across the state and the nation. So congratulations to everyone involved with the Bellevue School District. It makes my job much easier, and everyone's job much easier associated with the school. So thank you. On that note, our next meeting is actually going to be on January 8th on a Monday evening. But kind of let you know some other things happening this week. We have a home basketball game tonight versus Durant. Home basketball games on Friday night versus North Cedar. On Thursday evening, our wrestlers travel to Tipton. And then over the weekend, our girls play Dubuque Waller, actually in Dubuque that day at a shootout. And then next week, we go on break after Thursday. We are actually on break from December 22nd. Our last day of school is December 21st, the Thursday. So December 22nd through, I'm looking at my calendar over there, through January 3rd. We come back to school on January 3rd. So just to let you know, but I'll have another update out next week. But everyone have a great week. Stay warm. Be careful on the ice out there and the snow. It was far more snow than we planned on. The flurries that was supposed to be yesterday turned into about 3 inches of snow, kind of unexpected that way. But we're all dealing with it. Only fell once walking to school today, so it was a positive day after all. So have a great one, everyone. I'll talk